Hello,
Good morning.
we're in Virginia. Scott and Lisa Cahill. We wanted to get up to date. Some we haven't done anything worthwhile on Oroville in a while, but we have kept up on things and what's happening. And right now in this video, what we're going to talk about is the meeting that took place in Sacramento. I thought it was a productive, good meeting. It was very interesting to listen to the first half of the meeting where DWR sat there. Three men, the man who's responsible for the entirety, then Mr. Croyle, who's responsible theoretically for DWR, and then the man who works for him who's theoretically regulates the dams under DWR, which we've talked about before. The theory of having someone who works for you judge your work is obviously flawed, and I think we see the results of that in Oroville in every way. After that ridiculousness, which was the first half of the meeting, which I think was worthless BS and exactly exemplifies how we got in the situation that we enjoy right now. People who do not take responsibility, who, as one of the gentlemen said later on in the meeting, draw people in to disseminate the responsibility across a number of people so no one can be held responsible. It should be one man entirely responsible. 5,000 years ago, in the time of Mesopotamia, thank you, honey. What was the guy's name that chiseled on the basalt tablets, the 250 some?
Oh, the Code of Hammurabi addresses dams and is clear that the dam owner is responsible if a dam breaks and floods another's crop and damages it.
Yeah, the way that actual law read, I mean, obviously it's a lot of adaptions there, but it basically said that the person who owns the dam should be sold, and the proceeds from the sale of that person should pay for the damages downstream of the dam. And I don't think we'd get much for any of those guys. So I think instead we need to clean that dam up now. The three gentlemen spoke later on. They were Mr. B, who I find to be an absolute brilliant gentleman and engineer. I was entirely impressed with the guy.
Yes, absolutely.
He really understands what's going on. People should listen to what he says. This is a serious, intelligent, capable man.
And he understands it both from the standpoint of the dam and from the standpoint of the organizations.
Yes, yes, and every word the man said, I'm behind 100%. I thought, I don't get to say this very often lately. I thought that man is brilliant. That man is brilliant. He understands it. A lot of other people do not understand it. The other people were the gentleman with Friends of the River and
Mr. Stork.
Mr. Stork. I thought he spoke brilliantly, and again, everything he said was valid and correct. He's been proven correct historically. God knows that the action taken in 2005 was totally right, totally appropriate, and cannot be questioned now with what we've seen unfold in front of our eyes. And the other one was Bill Connolly, who also really represents those people well in your area.
Yep. He was just as reasonable as a human being could be, saying, we're willing to work with them and we're willing to take about anything in the way of compensation, electric power or whatever. Just stop messing with us.
Yeah.
And not compensating us.
And the people who he represents have been messed with for 50 years.
Yeah.
It's an entirely unfair situation there. In light of the fact that the same people are making promises again, some of the same kinds of promises.
Absolutely.
Oh, we're going to give you $7 million. Here's $3 million today. Money's nothing to us. Here, enjoy the money that we're going to give to you. And in return, what we ask is that you support us and help us to get this FERC permit.
For a 50-year
license. For a 50-year license. You guys are insane if you let that happen unchecked. This is the only chance that the people of that valley have to get this dam right. These people will never be responsible. They aren't going to change the way they operate without outside interference, without someone else taking that over or someone else regulating them.
Right.
They are incompetent and incapable of maintaining a dam.
They're giving you a new set of platitudes, and what you need to see is a sea change at their organization, and hopefully that their organization will not continue as the owner of record of that dam. There is precedent for others to own it and for them to have the water or power distribution, and that's how that dam has to be. They've screwed up too badly for too long.
I agree. That's my position, and I know that it's unpopular in the other side. I don't care what they think of me at all. I don't care at all. People who have failed, and they aren't going to change their culture. You could see that by the introduction to that meeting.
Right.
They are not going to change the way they operate. Absolutely. The only chance here is to get someone else in there and make them responsible, an honorable person or persons or entity. And there are many entities out there who are very competent dam owners, and that they either need to be owning that dam or someone competent needs to be regulating that dam. I was very disappointed with the interim director of FERC and her statement where she basically was saying what a great job everyone was doing in fixing this horror that manifested itself because of their inaction. That's not what I see there at all, and that's a shame that the lady who is charged with FERC would take that opportunity to hand out participation trophies instead of straightening things out. So that's the way we saw that meeting in Sacramento. I thought it was beneficial, and I thought that the last half of the meeting was really well run. And Jim Gallagher,
Assemblyman Gallagher.
Thank goodness for Jim Gallagher. Also a very competent gentleman on the other side of that table, asks the right questions, understands what's going on. So it's not all bad people here, and it's not all incompetent people. And sometimes incompetent people aren't bad, but truly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're mean, nasty, if you hate them, dislike them, love them. It doesn't matter if they're your uncle or your cousin. What matters is the liability produced by an asset like a dam. We can't kill 200,000 people to learn a lesson. We need to learn the lesson now. And thanks so much. We're going to try and get a few videos out here. Obviously, we're recreating right now. We're in Virginia. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.